I wanted to kind of give a quick walk around just to show the boat, everything I've done to it, get a kind of overview of what's going on with it. So clearly this is a outside profile. So one of the things that I've done is the spade anchor up front, along with 300 feet of chain. Has brand new north sails, so the Jeanneau is a 3DI, and the main is a regular Dacron main, mainly because it's a mass furling main, so it just doesn't have a ton of shape to start out with. The other thing is I replaced the roller on the furler because it was binding up. I added a whisker pole, which makes it a little bit more capable going downwind. You see the boom brake up there. Boom brake is going to prevent an accidental jibe, gives you a little bit more control when you're going downwind. All new running rigging. All the lines are good Jeanneau lines. I had 600 watts of solar. So lots of solar power up there. I'll try to show that a little bit better in a moment. Let's go aboard. So one big upgrade is this really nice B&G electronics. Plotter there in the middle on a swivel pod, go back and forth between the two helms. And then I've got the remote displays here, as well as the autopilot, and then I added the autopilot on the other side along with the remote display. So from either helm you have full control and can see your plotter. Another change here in the back is some additional winches for the Jeanneau. So when you have a boat that's rigged like this, it's called German main sheet, and what that means is that the main sheet is on both sides, and you actually share the back winches with the jib sheets, and that works when you're single-handed. But when you've got a crew on board and maybe you're racing a little bit, everybody's in everybody's way, so we decided to put these guys on along with these blocks to feed that jib sheet back. You can see that they're on both sides here. Fairly. Back to that solar, so you can see these solar panels. It's been raining a little bit today, so they're a little dirty, but generally they do a really good job of keeping everything topped off, even while running Starlink, which sucks a lot of power. They keep everything nice and topped off, and that's paired with a good set of lithium batteries. So, all right, let's go down below and look around here. So you can see from the cockpit, from the companionway, you can see what the cockpit looks like. Okay, so we'll start off in the bow, I guess. You got a typical V-berth. Nothing real special up here. Probably the only thing that was added was a remote control for the windlass. So that is wired up underneath that where all the relays and stuff are. something we did here is just this little battery monitor, which is great for keeping track of everything. Let me show you something here. So this here is a transponder, which will receive and transpond for AIS, which is fantastic. So at the helm, you have full view of what's going on. Where I live, where this boat is, we definitely get some foggy days, and we have shipping lanes out in front of us. So it's really nice to have that capability. Okay. The frame TV, which looks like a photo or like a picture, but it actually is a TV. Very nice. So that was an add-on, but of course pretty simple there. Along with that, I have a little inverter under here. We've got a little inverter, not very much, but just enough to power the TV and the Starlink. That's about all we use power for when we're out and about. Okay, galleys, straightforward, nothing too special here. If you're familiar with the Jeanneau SO or any modern boats, they're pretty much laid out very similar. This boat, I do think it has a very nice layout. It's very convenient. My wife would agree that it just works out pretty well. A little fun upgrade. So this is obviously super simple, but a gas strut on the chart table makes all the difference. It used to just flop down and you have to hold it up, and it was always a pain, but yeah, just nice little simple strut. You can get that on Amazon or whatever. But these are those remotes I was referring to for the windlass. I would have to say I haven't really used the remotes very much since I put them on, but it is there. So in the head, one big upgrade we did was this Marine Elegance head, and it is a electric head with a little flush module here, which simplified when we have guests on board, because teaching somebody how to use a head is always a challenge. In this case, we just tell them to push a button. But along with that, we actually added it so that it is a, you can kind of see that switch back there. So you can do sea and fresh, and you can do seawater coming in through that way down there. Or you can do freshwater. And we actually typically do freshwater because that obviously keeps the smells down and all that stuff. We start using seawater, they start to smell. But it's an option if we ever have a little water. However, this boat happens to have a lot of water on board. I think we have like 90 something gallons or something like that, because there's a front bow tank, and then there's a stern additional optional tank back here in the garage. So that's this guy here. So it's underneath all this, and so it gives us that double capacity. Okay. And then up in here, so you can see our charge controller. So all the electronics are Victron. So you can control it through your phone and all that good stuff. And then down here we've got 3 lithium batteries. So underneath this compartment there's batteries. So we got about 300 amps, or exactly 300 amps of lithium batteries, which for this boat we can go with a solar we can go pretty much forever. It feels like it anyway. If you run the Starlink too much, it only lasts, you'll start going negative over a few days. But if you don't run the Starlink every night, then it will last indefinitely as long as there's sunshine. So, and then back in here, we have the back berth, pretty good size, actually a really big bed. And then under here, if you can see, there's our Victron smart charger, and then our DC to DC charger. And that's when we put in lithium, you don't want that lithium, or you don't want the alternator going straight to the lithium, because it'll just draw too much, probably burn out the alternator. And so that's what we have in between. We have a typical blue top battery for your start battery, in conjunction with the lithiums. Okay, one other thing that's worth noting is the engine. So we're here. We've got our engine. It's clean. I don't remember the hours, but it's not too bad. I have to look at my logs. But one thing we did here is add the serpentine belt kit, which actually is a really great upgrade. One thing you'll notice is there's no belt dust down there, so that's a real nice benefit of it. But a side benefit of it is the belts kind of last forever. They really are solid belts. And then the side benefit I was speaking of is that it is quiet. So all that belt noise that you get, the vibration that you get, I don't think most people realize how much vibration comes from those belts, but this eliminates the vibration. So you still have noise, of course, because it's an engine, but it is so much smoother. And it's called, when we first switched it, it was kind of eerie because you kind of were wondering, is it still running? And so you come down and check, but it's amazing the difference. Another little simple upgrade is these little twist off caps or screws, which makes it nice for changing that impeller. And of course, if you ever had a broken impeller, it would make it faster and easier to get it off. Not saying you wouldn't have tools available, but it's just kind of a nice little change. All right, so let's go up on deck and I'll show you around up there. So there's a lazarette here in the cockpit. In there, got another anchor and some rope and chain. So it's a combination. I think it's like 50 feet of chain and like 250 feet of rope. So we talked about the cockpit already. So yeah, jack lines. That's kind of nice to have. I'm sorry, this. Because we just keep them off the deck, so it keeps things clean. So I think I mentioned we replaced the windlass because it was pretty corroded underneath it. I went to service it after I bought the boat, and like most of the metal was gone, so I decided to just get a whole new one. That's the chain, and of course there's a bridle down there. It holds unbelievably, no problems. That spade anchor is just awesome. So, deck's pretty typical of this layout. You can see this boom brake that I spoke of. So there's north sails. And that wraps it up.